Hello, everyone. My name is Edmundas. I'm co-founder and CEO of Eddie Travels, your personal AI travel assistant. And today with us, we have Sunil Sharma, the MD of Techstars Toronto, co-host of Collision Conference in Toronto, angel investor, and general cool guy.
General Cook. Live from Vilnius, Lithuania.
Live from Vilnius, Lithuania, Ball Space co-working space. Sunil, thank you for coming down to Lithuania.
Well, we have to have board meetings once in a while, and it's a great place to do it. It's an exciting, dynamic, cultural city.
Yeah.
I'm actually blown away by Vilnius. Definitely a place I'd like to come back.
And you met what, more than a dozen of startups here?
Yeah, in large part thanks to you, but I'm not surprised. This place is known for its strong engineering and technology and great founders, companies like Eddie Travels. And I had a good time meeting, I think, at least 15 companies yesterday and a few more today
Yeah.
in this room. And I was really impressed by the caliber of the entrepreneurs.
Awesome, awesome. Well, and what brings you to Lithuania is recruiting for Techstars Toronto accelerator program. Before we get into the accelerator things, I guess the viewers would like to learn a little bit, who are you and what you have done in the past, because I've known that you were policeman.
Oh, no. That's
Were you
Now we're
applying?
going back
And and you were in the government
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you did angel investment, and now all these other things. Maybe
Yeah.
you can just briefly tell.
Yeah. Well, I've changed my life course a few times, but I definitely spent early part of a career in the Foreign Service of Canada, being a diplomat, and that gives you a good orientation of the world and understanding how Canada fits as a relatively small country in this big world. And I think that has led me into my work at Techstars, where I run the Techstars in Toronto, and I take a very international perspective on entrepreneurs and startups. And I think that the region, the Baltic region, Eastern Europe, definitely Lithuania. Later today, I'm going to Belarus to meet some startups. I think there's exceptional people and entrepreneurs, and if you can bridge with the opportunities in a market like Canada, a city like Toronto, potentially
North America.
you can create these multinational startups at a very early stage, kind of like what's happened now with Eddie Travels, and hopefully I can find another company from Vilnius.
Yeah. So for people who don't know about Techstars, can you just say what Techstars is in a few sentences?
Sure. So Techstars is the worldwide network that helps entrepreneurs succeed, and it's a global network of technology accelerators. We operate as a venture capital fund. We invest into each company. We bring 10 companies into the class. The Techstars Toronto Accelerator is a city program, so it's open to any industry vertical. So, like you are in travel tech, I met some great companies here doing things in agri-tech, in transportation logistics, in restaurant and ordering systems, and many other industry verticals,
Yeah.
which would all be very applicable for the Techstars Toronto program.
Yeah. And what I found especially useful is also the wider network of Techstars, because it's what, 56 programs across the world,
Yeah,
and
about 50.
over like 1,200.
Yeah, we have 2,000 alumni companies
Mhm.
now, so we've made
2,000.
2,000 investments, and I guess it's growing by about 500 per year now with
Yeah.
50 accelerators,
Yeah.
each doing around 10 investments per accelerator.
Yeah.
So the numbers are getting quite substantial.
Yeah.
And but that said, we are always considerate of the teams at the stage of even before they join a Techstars, we like to meet them, help. Maybe there's many ways we can help entrepreneurs and connections and mentorship, and also sometimes in community, like with our Startup Weekend program.
Sure. And just how Accelerator works, it's $20,000 investment in a program and additional $100,000 convertible note, which is optional, right?
Right. Yeah, it's $120,000 US investment in each company. Generally, that's what happens. We take some common equity, and we basically join the company as though we're an additional co-founder. It's a relationship that will last for essentially a lifetime. And as we've seen now, we've made an investment in Eddie Travels, and I'm happy to come here. We did board meetings and
8 months later.
Yeah, I figured, yeah. So our applications in Toronto are open, and the program will start in March and will end in about the middle of June. And the reason for the slight delay in the Techstars Toronto dates is to help coincide it with a big event that we are involved with in Toronto called Collision, which is what you were mentioning earlier. It's one of the world's largest tech conferences. It'll be bringing in thousands of investors and corporate partners and entrepreneurs to Toronto in June. And so to take advantage of all those people, it's going to be really nice to have the new class graduate into all the activity that will be happening in Toronto at that time.
Absolutely. Yeah, last year Collision, 27,000 people from all across North America, United States, Canada, and Europe was an amazing event. We met a number of great investors and companies, and definitely coming back again this year. And we definitely feel the support of Techstars Network. My co-founders just went to the Techstar Founders Summit in Turin, Italy. And there's this Techstars network online that we keep using for asking questions and getting support and getting introductions for sales and potential investors. Yeah, it's been great. So what are in the plans actually for Collision next year in June? What is any cool new things? What are the growth plans? How big is the conference going to be next year?
Yeah, I think it's going to grow from my understanding. I have this neat role where I'm the co-host of the event, but I don't actually have to do a lot of heavy work. They have a team of people that we co-locate within the Techstars office in Toronto. So we stay close and, recommending speakers and startups to get on stage. Some of my colleagues from Techstars will be there speaking and moderating panels and judging pitch competitions. So it's a very good place to sort of discover up-and-coming startup companies from around the world. It's also great for interacting with investors. They do a tremendous job of curating one-to-one investor meetings. And also just, helping entrepreneurs, given that it's, I think, the largest gathering of entrepreneurs is this event with its sister event, Web Summit, which just happened, as you know, in Lisbon, the largest tech event. And Techstars is in a nice fit for that because we're the largest network of tech accelerators. And when we overlay each other, it's kind of a nice alignment. So I expect it to be a good time, June, and also you'll see a whole bunch of great Techstars companies, hopefully on stages and battling it out in the pitch competitions and getting attention from journalists and investors and customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So how come all these things kind of surround or end up in Toronto, Canada? Techstars Toronto, which is now going to be a third batch, right?
Yeah, we're third class. Yeah.
Collision, the second time happening in Toronto. All these other things happening in Toronto. All the investment coming in. All the AI leading decisions and things. How they really are leading the AI industry in from all sorts of angles. I know why we chose Toronto because of such a close proximity and relationship with the United States. We're so easy to go to United States, do deals in the United States, meet investors in Canada, or it's also closer to Europe. Toronto is an Eastern time. It's very easy actually to get to Toronto from Europe, either via Amsterdam, Frankfurt, or even Kiev, even if we don't still have direct flights from Vilnius. What else I'm missing? What's else?
No. I think what you're touching on is it's true. There's been this real interest in Toronto. It's sort of just a city that's come into its own now in technology, and a lot of big companies. The large tech companies from around the world have established big teams there. And I think, the question why? Well, and there's a lot of talent in Toronto, so the universities are really strong. I think a lot of it relates to the fact that it's an incredibly ethnically diverse city. More than half the city are immigrants, and they come from all over the world, often studying, the things that startups expect in terms of the hiring. So engineering, math, computer science, design, and business. And so you have a lot of really talented people. And in comparison to some other countries, there's some advantages on immigration and on access and visas. So those advantages are attracting even more talent and making conditions stronger for growth.
So Sunil, I highly recommend all the companies to apply to Techstars Toronto. The applications are still open, right?
They are open.
And you're now in the region. What have you seen so far? Where are you going next? Like what kind of companies you're looking for to apply to Techstars Toronto?
Sure. So Lithuania has been outstanding, and visiting your team and the others here in Vilnius has been just eye-opening, and I'm so encouraged by the opportunities of discovering good startups and working with entrepreneurs here in Lithuania. Later today, I'm going to Minsk, Belarus. Again, in large part thanks to you with some connections. There's Tech Minsk that's hosting me for some meetings for a couple of days, and then to Riga, Latvia, which is just a short trip away, and again to meet with some startups that are battling out in a large tech conference in Latvia. And I'm just noticing on the map, if I had more time, Estonia is the very next country over, and we're very close to Poland. I didn't make it to Poland on this trip, but I am expecting at least one or two startups from Poland to make their trip to Toronto for Techstars. So in all this region, this Eastern Europe and the Baltics region is just incredibly opportune for discovering great tech startups. And also as I was telling you outside, I'm amazed at the cost efficiencies of just moving around here. The flights are available and incredibly inexpensive, especially in comparison to what we pay back home in Canada. Hotels are very inexpensive. The food is great. The Ubers are everywhere and cheap. Like it's just remarkably efficient in terms of stretching your budget to do some meetings and take some trips here in the region.
That we do, yes. We like to optimize our budget. All right, well, thank you very much, Sunil. So, startups from Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Belarus, Poland, the region in general, apply to Techstars Toronto right now. And see you hopefully all in Collision next year.
And don't forget Eddie Travels. That's how you get around throughout the Baltics.
Find the cheap flights
Yeah.
on Eddie Travels on your favorite chat app. Thank you all. Bye bye.